free Zibby. I think we need to set the record straight. We need to clarify some things. So strap on, because this is gonna be not a very short video. I think what initially made me want to make this video now is seeing all the pro-Iranian protests that are going all across the world. I can see it on every social media platform, on the news. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against the Iranian people, but I do have a huge problem with a dictatorship regime whose entire purpose is to annihilate the Western civilization, and of course suppressing their own people. So if you know me, then you know that I've been very much invested in everything that has happened in Israel, in the United States, in England, all over the world actually, when it comes to the Jewish community after the October 7th massacre. I could not for the life of me understand why we are being treated this way, why so many people hate us. And I just couldn't fathom that. I was like, I told my mom, I need to know what happened. I mean, I know about the conflict, but I'm not really educated about it. I am a very emotional person when it comes to my personal life. But when I'm facing something that's extreme, I go to a very rational place. I needed to understand from an objective point of view why this is happening, because I needed to find logic and rational. All I did was research. That's all I did. Watched videos, I read articles, I listened to podcasts from both sides. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I just take the Israeli side. No, I did my due diligence. I have created a Palestinian timeline and created an Israeli timeline, and I wanted to see where they overlap in order for me to create an objective timeline. I am going to repeat the facts, but I'm not going to dive too much into that. I would love to make other videos if you want me to dive into every argument that I am going to make right now. But the first thing that I've noticed after watching countless debates is a very important distinction between both sides. One side is talking facts and the other side is talking feelings, which means there is no actual conversation happening. I cannot invalidate someone's feelings, and they can't invalidate facts because they're rooted in reality. First thing I want to address is that Israel is an apartheid state. Now, I believe that it doesn't matter how many proof will show you that Israel is not an apartheid state, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, and the main reasons I hear about this is the fact that military is very present within the Israeli society. And the second argument is that we're also indoctrinating children to hate. So I'm not going to dive too much into this, but in Israel, since we are a small little dot on the map country, surrounded by 50 Muslim states, okay, and countries, you are obligated to get drafted to the IDF when you're 18. The IDF is called the IDF, which means it stands for Israeli Defense Forces, because we are defending ourselves. We would not engage in activity if we don't have to. It's just a fact. This is why the IDF is called the most moral army in the world. Now, I'm not going to go too much within the indoctrination theory, but it is factual that on the other side, on their syllabus and curriculums, they have anti-Israel, anti-Jewish propaganda who has been taught to them since they're in kindergarten. They are taught to hate. And when you are, and this is the emotional side of it, right? And when you're indoctrinated from such a young age, and whatever it is you know is hate, it's normal to you. Now, of course, this is utter bullshit, and we do not indoctrinate children to hate anyone for that matter. Actually, the Department of Education here in Israel has regulations and it's not like a national law, because when you're in academia, in college and university, you can still debate and hear your professors' opinions, but they're not allowed to influence it. So in public school, in middle schools and high schools and grade schools and all those schools, you can monitor a debate between your students, but you're not allowed to jump in and give your own political view, because Israel is encouraging critical thinking and an independent mind, which the other side is terrified of. My next argument is something that I think that is not being said enough. Factually, we are the indigenous people of the land. This is our land. But even if we were in the diaspora for years and other people have settled in, people came to conquer the land, it was the Roman Empire and then the Brits came. My initial thought is that it doesn't even matter what happened prior to 1947, 1948. Now, I can go and dive into the American history for hours because, man, you guys are... The reason I'm saying that is because Americans are technically Brits that came from England and settled in a country that they considered to be a bare land, which was not. They had indigenous people, and those indigenous people have their own governance situation going on. They had their resources, they had their leadership. Thomas Jefferson have declared independence before any national recognition to the land. Nobody cared that there were indigenous people to the land. And the day the United States, which was not 50 states the day, but the day the United States have become a country recognized was when France acknowledged him. That's it. France have acknowledged him as a sovereign state, and they received independence, even though there were people on the land. So I guess my point, it doesn't matter what happened before 1948, because the partition plan took place in the UN in 1947, and in those plans, most of the countries acknowledged Israel, acknowledged it as a Jewish state. So we got national recognition. Technically, you can all shut up. Now, this is the part of the video where I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat, but this is from a rational point of view. So in order for us to understand my next argument, a little bit about Israel's democracy. I'm not gonna dive into this too much. In Israel, it's really different. So you don't choose directly your prime minister, but what you're doing is choosing a political party that aligns with your beliefs, with your agenda. That political party, all of those political parties actually, are going to the president, which is all mostly a symbolic figure in the Israeli government. And they debate on which have the higher chance to create and form a coalition and form a government. The president gives the leader of this party that he deems is worthy of creating and, creating a government. He gives them a mandate. If they don't have 61 mandates from us, the Israeli people, they need to basically go to other political parties and be like, hey, do you want to team up? Do you want to let's add our votes? Does it matter that nobody chose us? It doesn't matter. Which has created something that happened in the past few years in Israel, which is our current prime minister, and I'm sorry for saying that like that, was not elected for years. He's the only one who's been managing to form a coalition due to the fact that he's in business with a lot of parties that do not represent the Israeli culture and population. So I don't support our current prime minister and his proxies within the government who are currently misrepresenting the Israeli population worldwide. The point is, this prime minister and the most of his proxies within the government who are speaking about the Israeli society is not our representative. And let me tell you something more. I don't trust him as a human being. I think he wants to stay in power no matter what. The reason the Israeli people are now standing behind Benjamin Netanyahu is because his personal interest of staying on the throne, let's call it like that, is aligned with the national interest of us. Because if you will win the war, if you will bring back the hostages, if you will stop the war in Gaza, and if you help Israel avoid a nuclear threat, that's what we want. That's what we want. So our national interest is aligned with his personal interest for the first time in years. I guess circling back, my final point that actually takes all the points that I gave you and mush them together is the fact that it doesn't matter what you show. It doesn't matter what you say. You need to keep fighting in order to open people's eyes 100%. But if you are a man of God, if you are a woman of God, and you full and wholeheartedly believe that there is a God, and I tell you, yo, dude, God does not exist. That's not a thing. Would you believe me? No. Never. So that's what I compare this situation to. Bottom line, I just wanted to vent, I guess, and give you my opinion. I have a lot of knowledge, and I'm not saying it in order to be patronizing. I'm saying it because I wish a lot of people did what I do. When we hear something that doesn't make sense, doesn't compute, we sit our ass down and we do our research and we develop our own critical thinking and opinions. And that's what I think that is missing in the West right now. I know it was a long video, but thank you so much for watching, all of you. I posted this for a very long time. I didn't know whether I should just sit in front of a camera and just spit my information out and my opinion. You know what? I have had enough. I'm a proud Israeli. I'm a proud Jewish woman. And I believe in peace and love to all. But that's the thing. That's my Western point of view. Our brothers and sisters and cousins from the other states, they don't believe that. That's their core belief. So you try to work things out with diplomacy when you can't. They only understand one thing, which is violence. Love you guys. I hope you can share this video if you believe in whatever it is I said. Let's hope that will reach a lot of people and they will understand that we are being misrepresented and we want peace, we want quiet, we just want our hostages back. Okay? Am Israel Chai, guys. This is the most important thing. Am Israel Chai.